A bit different this week again. So I've got a pal down in the Midlands who's looking to come to Northumberland in his camper van, and he said, "Would you drop us a few notes?" Well, I'm not big on writing, but I'm big on talking. So I'm going to have a little run out just to point out a few places that you can come in your camper van, little places to visit. The brief he's given me is places to photograph. He likes wildlife and dark skies. So we're going to have a whistle-stop tour of Northumberland, starting in the south-eastern corner, which is at Seaton Sluice. We've got St Mary's Lighthouse in the background behind me, which is actually in North Tyneside. And turning around this way, we have got a caravan site with a sea view. It's a little bit blustery today, so you're not getting the best from it, but this is Old Hartley caravan site, camping and caravaning club site. But there is a car park next to it where I do see camper vans parked up regularly, so I'll show you that. And it's also got a 72-hour parking restriction on it. So it's not unusual to see camper vans just parked up here. So we're now at Seaton Sluice with Blyth Beach heading off right down in the distance along the way. A good couple of pubs here, King's Arms. Back around the other side, the Waterford Arms. So the Waterford does an absolutely fantastic fish and chips, huge. But the best fish and chips in Northumberland anywhere, if you don't take anything else from this video, is Harbour Fish and Chips, which is just behind that building over there. So this is the world famous Harbour Chippy. It is fantastic. If you come here in the summer, the queue will be from the front door here, there, all the way down the path, snaking all the way across there onto the grass, with people sitting around on the picnic benches eating the fish and chips. It's fantastic. Now driving from Seaton Sluice north towards Blyth, and all the way down behind the sand dunes here, there's a big long car park, which again, as long as they haven't put the barrier across, there's like a goalpost type barrier, it's a common place to see camper vans parked along there as well. So this is Blyth Beach, stretching all the way down to Seaton Sluice, and then we've got Blyth Harbour and Lighthouse just in the distance. This is down at Blyth Harbour now. We've got the tall ship in the background just behind us there, and again there is a parking space just slightly along the decking. You'll come to a car park. It's next to the police station. Again, it's probably not an ideal parking place because you do get the teenagers and the boy racers congregating there, but then again the police station is next to it, so probably wouldn't be the first choice. But if you need to, at the end of the day and it's been a long day, there's some good places to eat along here. There's the Commissioner's Quay Hotel behind us just there, and then just the other side of the Arran and Alive station behind us in the other direction is a restaurant called Caboose. I've just paused here driving north, hugging the coast as we go, and coming through the village of Linemouth. So come down to a T-junction here, and you'll see that there's a pit wheel sunk into the ground just there. When you get here, especially if you're in a camper van, don't be turning right. In a car it's fine, but you need to be turning left and then taking a right further on to get you down to the coast. I'll show you why shortly. So we're just approaching this little bridge now at Linemouth, and as you can see, it's a very narrow set of bollards that you've got to get between. So this is Creswell Bay. It's the southern end of Druridge Bay, which stretches away in the distance. This is a cracking place for rock pooling. And as you drive up here, there's several car parks with frustrating goalpost type barriers over them where you can't get a camper van in, there's no chance. However, if you just keep following north and then bear to the right as you go up, there is a lay-by where you can get in with camper vans, so I'll show you where that is. For me, this is where the wildlife really starts to start. So we're at got the sea over the dunes behind us here, the south end of Druridge Bay, north end of Creswell Bay, and then just behind these bushes here we've got some ponds. There's a couple of little breaks in the hedgerows and paths and bird hides, and if that's what you want to do, there's places to go and watch the birds. I'm a bit clueless when it comes to birds. I know the basics, but you get people up here who get quite excited, but I'm just clueless. So this is the ponds. There's bird hides just on the far bank over there, and then it's not unusual in the fields at the side to see huge flocks of migratory geese. It's quite a popular place because as they come across the North Sea, this is the first bit of fresh water they get, so they'll dive in and have a drink, and then they go in the fields and eat the grass. So it's always a pop. There are places to park here, but obviously it's another one where there's no facilities, there's no electric hookups, there's no showers. I maybe should have asked if that's what you want, or whether you want proper campsites, Al, but I'll leave it to your discretion. Even if you don't want to camp here, it's still quite a nice place to visit for a couple of hours. I would take that with a bit of poetic license that a camper van is neither a caravan or a tent, therefore pitch up. So we are now at Druridge Bay. The road that I'm just on there that runs behind the dunes is called Hadston Links, and behind us over in this direction here is Druridge Bay Country Park, and we're just coming out onto the beach now. So I'll give you a view up and down the beach. It's absolutely tremendous. So down to the south, the big chimney in the distance is at Linemouth, and I think this is about 7 miles of uninterrupted sandy beach. Just heads to the north, and then when you get round the headland, we're up towards Cocoa Island. So slightly further up this track, it's like a T shape when you come off the road, heading north and south. If you head north, there's some grassy verges and bigger places that you can park up. We've now popped into Hawksley Nature Reserve. Looking at the bigger map, we're up here. So earlier on, when we were just down this road here. In fact, this map shows everything all the way down to where we were down at Creswell. So from Creswell you can come up. That's the first lot of ponds where I stopped to have a look. We've then got Druridge Bay Country Park and another set of ponds, and now we're here. Look at this. We're literally 3 metres, 4 metres from that feeder. Chaffinch, bullfinch, pheasant. Look at the colour of that. Robin, goldfinch, great tit. Get me, Chris Packham. Them bullfinches are so bright. Oh Al, you'll be loving this. You best bring your big camera lens. It's something else that you appreciate more when you're from the Midlands. Oyster catchers. A great big long orange beak. And it's not unusual at this stretch either to see curlews. I'll make this one quick because there's people coming, but in the background we've got Cocoa Island behind us. And this is just the outskirts of Amble, just on the south side. So again, as you come along the beach road, the coast road, there's a couple of car parks which I think they've all got 72-hour parking restrictions on. So again, there's no facilities for camper vans, but I think it's fair game to be parking up. This is one of my favourite little spots for fishing. I'll put in a couple of clips of the dolphins as well up here. We're quite fortunate up here because there's resident bottlenose, what are they? Bottlenose dolphins, yeah. And they tend to live all the way sort of from Scarborough all the way up to Berwick, and there's usually quite a lot that are fairly local. New Biggan's quite a good hot spot for watching them, and we get to see them fairly regularly, but this is the first time. Oh, hello, they are coming closer. We're just going to carry on in a straight line at a steady speed. Hello. Question is, can I get them to perform for a thumbnail right in time for the start of the show? Oh. This is Amble Harbor. So over on Cocoa Island you get puffins. They're not there all year round, so it tends to be a springtime thing through till about June, and you can get a boat out from here. Little trip out the harbour. Boat's just moored up down here at the moment, and that'll take you out and around the Cocoa Island. Have a look at the seals and the puffins and the Rosetta terns and all the other seabirds that are out there. But with the bird flu last year, they took a right hammering. There's been a lot of birds that have died as a consequence. One of the things that you've got at Amble is a Sunday market, come car boot type sale, and some little pods. So there's loads of people about. I'm not going to talk as I'm walking through, but I'll have a walk through and show you some of the little micro businesses and gift shops that there are. This is the lobster hatchery. Where they have all the breeding lobsters. And then they go into, hang on, they're just coming round. These are the little weeny ones whizzing around in there. I have to keep the water moving because they eat one another. So these are all the kind of things that you get in the locally around here. I've actually done a video of eating a couple of these. Edible urchins, not the best. Brittle stars. A couple of lobsters under there. That there is a big squat lobster. Some big hermit crabs. filming this on Cup final day. They're all at Wembley. It's not happening. From the north side of Amble, you've got Amble Marina. You can turn in here, turn immediately left. So this is the north side of Amble, and there's some designated motorhome spots here. Again, there's no facilities, hookups or toilet facilities or anything, but you are 5-10 minute walk from Amble. So we've got the Coquet Shore Base Trust here, then there's Amble Boat Club, Amble Yacht Club, and the marina is just away behind the trees there. I'll put a couple of other shots in. This is the River Coquet estuary, Amble behind us, Warkworth ahead of us. This is a good spot here for, you can get fish congregating in here, waiting to get up there. And when you do, you sometimes get seals come up chasing them. So it's quite a good little wildlife spot here. You get a lot of herons on the far bank as well. And then we've also seen a lot of deer just coming over for a bit of a drink in the distance. And it's good crack, just sliding down that bit in your kayak. So we're at Warkworth Castle. First of the proper castles that you'll come to on the heading south to north on the coast. It's English heritage, and it's pretty much just a ruin, but it's pleasant. It looks great at around Easter time when the daffodils are out on the far side. And this is just to the south side of Warkworth. So we'll drive through the village, and I think there's another place near the north side that I'll show you for parking up. So as you come out of the village and you go over the river, you take the immediate first right and head up the hill. There's another campervan designated parking space area just at the top of here. You just take a left. And there is a couple of campervans here. This is Alnwick Castle, owned by the Duke and Duchess of Northumberland, the Percy family, and it's worth a visit definitely. There's been a lot of filming done here over the years for Blackadder, all sorts of stuff. I think the most recent one was Transformers, and a lot of other sort of period dramas. So it's in good condition. The Alnwick Gardens are good as well. The best bit of that is probably the poison garden. Loads of things that you've got in your own garden at home that you'll probably kill you. So yeah, definitely worth a visit. I'll tell you another little story about this when there's not many people standing round. So for those of you who remember Blackadder, in series 1, this was filmed at Alnwick Castle, and the then Duke, the deceased brother of the existing Duke, was quite a nuisance to the film crew. He didn't make their lives easy. So when it came to series 2, as a little bit of a revenge dig, they created the character called Percy, after the family name of Duke of Northumberland, the Percy family, and gave his character a bit of a dim-witted persona, as a little bit of a two fingers stick up for the fact that he'd caused them so many problems in series 1. I'm just going to share a bit of local knowledge with you on this one. So if you want to visit Dunstanburgh Castle, the normal place most people will park is at Craster. But if you've got a camper van, the car parking spaces are just car parking spaces, and the flipping traffic wardens are traffic wardens, to put it politely, around there. So I think if I was going to give you a little bit of advice, I'd go to Embleton, which is slightly further north. Either park in the village or at the side of the road next to Dunstanburgh Castle golf course. I've just walked through the golf course now, through the dunes, and it's not far to get to Dunstanburgh Castle once you're on the well, you can either go down the coastal path, which is before you cross the fairway, or cross the fairway and walk down the dunes path. My preference is always to get a view of the sea. So there we are, just topping the dunes with the castle on the horizon there. Now this is about the midway point between Dunstanburgh Castle and around the headland there, Newton on the Sea. So from the castle to Craster, I think it's about a 1.5 mile walk, dead easy flat walk, very pleasant with the sea on your left hand side. When you get into the village of Craster, they've got the world famous Craster Kippers Smokehouse. There's a good pub called the Jolly Fisherman, and it's everything about it's nice. It's just the parking is a bit of a nightmare. So, and then in the other direction, as I say, you can't see it from here, but it's Newton on the Sea. Again, there's a brilliant pub there called the Ship. I'll put a little bit of footage in of that. And then there's also another pub called the Joiners Arms a bit further up into the village. So I do love it up here. It's wild, it's rugged, and it's again, you can see a lot of seals up this area regularly. Sometimes you even get pulled out on the beach. This first stretch is great, nice and flat, open views, good chance of seeing the dolphins if they're about, although so far on all the walks we've not seen them. And we've got Dunstanburgh Castle dead ahead, and a load of oyster catchers just up here. Should have mentioned there's also a pub in Embleton, and there's also a couple of campsites not far from here. So I think all the campsites you'll pick up on websites easy enough. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of local knowledge as to unofficial parking spaces, shortcuts, bits that get you kind of off the tour, the proper tourist track. So I suppose you need to do a bit of both really, because you will need services and the like. That's maybe worth knowing. At sea houses, this is where you get the boat trips across to the Farne Islands, which are away out behind me over there. It's absolutely brilliant for wildlife over there. Puffins are the big attraction, but there's also hundreds of seals, loads of other seabirds. Again, they got a bit of a kick in last year with the bird flu, and this year there's just been announced that they won't allow you to get off on the islands, but the boat trips will be running to go around the islands. If you're going to come to Northumberland, for me, that's probably the highlight, especially if you get a nice day. I've been over there where it's been a bit choppy, which was entertaining for other reasons, albeit maybe not the wildlife, but you get it on a still day. There's a chance of seeing dolphins. My son went last year and saw a minke whale, and you can also do snorkeling trips as well. So there's a place called Fifth Point, based from Blyth, but they come up here pretty much every Saturday late afternoon in the summer and do snorkeling trips, so I'll put a link in for them. Again, if you're in your camper van, you don't need to bring wetsuits or anything. They'll provide all the kit. They've got safety lifeguards and everything. They'll give you the instruction. It's all done in a very ethical way in terms of being, you know, just respectful of the wildlife, but still getting close, you know, I mean, to the point that the seals will nibble your fins, like really close. So have a quick skirt around the harbour. So these are all the tour boats. Well, there's a couple of fishing boats in the distance, but primarily tour boats, all parked up for the winter. My son's had a go at driving one of these here. I was very jealous. It's different trips that you can do, but I've been out on that one just there. You see it's got the lift on the back, so if you're doing the snorkeling and that, you can just go down the hydraulic lift on the back. You haven't got to climb up the ladder or anything. There's a couple of dive boats about. This one here, this one's got the lift on the back, as has the one just here. So it's a cracking spot, absolutely cracking. After fish and chips at Seaton Sluice, this would be my second on the list to do when you visit. That's your little shop for all your sticks of rock if you want them. Look at this for a backdrop. Bamburgh Castle in all its majesty. So just across the road from the castle there's a car park with, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 bays. Looks like there's a charge of 12 quid for these, for your motorhome, and you've got to ring up and book it, or scan your QR code and book it. But it is a cracking place. Bamburgh itself as a village, it's beautiful. There's a couple of really nice pubs. The beach is fantastic. Another little hidden gem. If you go past the castle on this side, there's a sand dune. If you keep your eye on that and go to the top of it, there's a bench on the top, and it was voted best place to have your picnic in 2013 or something. So yeah, it is brilliant. The castle itself is really nice. Been there several times. I've worked in there, and it's well worth a visit. But this and Alnwick Castle are the two best. Not a lot to choose between them, in all fairness. Again, this one's got a lot of like proper history. It's also done a lot of filming there for, I think Robin Hood was done at this one, not at Alnwick. But again, what's his name out of Indiana Jones? He was here last year filming, doing the next Indiana Jones. So I'm not even sure if that's been released yet. But yeah, this is worth a visit for sure. Look at these. This brings it to an end for now. I was going to go a little bit further north and go up to Lindisfarne, Holy Island, but the tides are wrong, so I'm going to head back. Hope it's been useful. Probably the only other place that might be worth having a look at and doing a little bit of research is Amble Bay, which again is just a couple of miles north of here, if that. There are some parking spaces at the side of the road, but this really has just been one for the coastal side. I'll do another one which will go inland, but I think you'll start to appreciate how big Northumberland is.